Hi, you guys. Can everybody hear me? Let me know in the comment section. How's everybody going today? How's everybody doing? I can see, honestly, I just wanted to say on YouTube, I didn't realize that it started, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Quick Shot Roadside. You've been waiting since 6:05 Central Time, so wanted to say how's it going? And Spiral Crunch, you were there 7 minutes afterwards on YouTube, so I just wanted to do a quick shout out to you guys because you guys have been waiting for like ever. And it's my first like official podcast. I know I just did a bunch of dumb things before because I didn't know what I was doing. But the thing is, I still don't know what I'm doing. Is there any echo in my sound or anything else like that? I don't think there is because no one's saying anything bad. Awesome possum, dudes. So I figured, you know what? Instead of doing all information and like packing things in and then packing her out, I want to build a bit of a community, you know what I mean? I want to talk to you guys. I want to be able to communicate with you guys, especially, through the comments. And so I just wanted to say hello to all the people that are on my comment section and watching right now. I'm so glad that you guys have been able to join me on my first podcast. Now, if you're expecting like extraordinaire, stuff like technological, I'm just going to apologize right ahead. It is like TMU version of like other podcasts that you've watched. I mean, the information is going to be packed, but like I am not going to be looking good or having makeup on or knowing how to, boopity boopity boo for a little while. So I'm learning with you guys as you're learning with me. You know what I mean? But it's okay because there's people out there who think I work for the cabal. But if you can let the cabal know that I need technical help, that would be great because none of the guys on the rig are technically helping me right now. So yeah, I am so glad that so many of you guys are here. That's awesome. And it's like a Friday at 7 p.m. So you guys are hermits just like me. We're here to learn about conspiracies, increase our vibrations, learn stuff. I want to learn stuff from you guys because it's like a puzzle piece and everybody has little bits and, information. And if we make this puzzle piece together, then we can actually like learn the truth together. You know what I mean? But if you're expecting me to look all hot and stuff, that's not going to happen because one, I'm not hot. And two, I don't know how to put makeup on. And if you're going to make fun of my lighting, that's just what she is, boys. I don't know what to tell ya. But I figured I'd just be a little bit more myself. You know what I mean? How's it going, Monica? We've got Todd Davidson. We've got Sarah Page, Terry Allen Smith, Kimberly Reese Shipe, Carla Mannix. How's it going, you guys? Love you guys. This is awesome. Because you know what? Not just one person can have all the information. So if we have all of like the people, adding like little bits and pieces of information, we can actually do this puzzle piece of truth. So why don't we get started? I even prepared a really cool PowerPoint presentation for you guys because I'm a nerd and I don't know how else to do this stuff. So yeah, let's get her started. I even have like an intro page. Let me see if I can do this right. Oh, dudes. I clicked the first button and it worked. We are so totally nailing this like podcast. So I figured I'd just kind of introduce myself because I have so many like new people on my page. A lot of people don't know my history. A lot of people don't know why I do what I do. A lot of people don't know what motivates me. So I figure I'd go into that a little bit. But we're not going to just talk about me because screw me, right? We want information. We want to know what we're going to do. We want to know where we should go in the future, how to prepare for stuff. So as I kind of like keep this podcast going, I'm going to learn more stuff about the technicalities of things like the boopity boop and the buttons and the technology, which sucks because, yeah, it's moving fast. There's so much like stuff out there. So how are you guys doing on this amazing Friday evening? Welcome to episode 1 of the Truth Seeker podcast. It's going to be slightly unhinged because I am slightly unhinged. I'm going to try and make it professional, but at the same time, I'm going to try and be myself, which is kind of unhinged, feral, and I have absolutely like No, yeah, it's bad. There's no filter, okay? And I figure I'm gonna stay sober on this podcast because after one glass of winey wine, there's even more no filter. And I'll let you guys see me without any filter in a couple of podcasts. I'll get you used to my personality a little bit because sometimes some people are like, whoa, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, a lot of stuff, okay? A lot of stuff. So anyways, an intro to TruthSeeker01011. What's my background? Because a lot of people seem to be confused. I get called a lot of names, like Frenchie. Yeah, people think I'm from Quebec. And they're like, oh, okay, how's it going, Frenchie? And I'm like, whoa, dudes, whoa. Okay, easy on the labeling me a Frenchie, okay? So, let's go back to the magical day I was born. That's a joke. It was not magical. Actually, I was born a month premature because I wanted to get out into the world so bad. I was so excited for life, apparently. I was knocking on my mom's stomach and I was like, let me out of here. So I was born July 6, 1986, a month premature. Yeah. I regret that. I wish I could have stayed in my mom's stomach for another 18 years after discovering what this world was about. But hey, I was excited. So yeah, anyway, I was literally born in former Yugoslavia, which now isn't a country. It's like 5 different countries. It used to be provinces. And yeah, so then a war started when I was 4.5, and we were in that war for a little bit. And then, it was honestly, I would like to say that it was almost divine intervention with how we got out. So we were in the war for a little bit. My parents were like, nothing's going to happen. Like, we've always lived in peace. We've grown up with each other. There's no way people would believe this propaganda that is being pushed out there, to get a civil war going. And so, yeah, we were in the war for a little bit. What's that thing called? The borders in Bosnia started to close off. And just by miracle, my mom gets a phone call from a travel agent that she used to know. And she said, hey, if you guys are looking to get out, because my mom's Bosnian, my dad's Serbian, my dad was born in Serbia. So if you're like, why didn't you stay and fight? It's like, whose side are we going to fight? Because Bosnians were like going after Serbians. Serbians were going after Bosnians. Croats were going after Bosnians. Bosnians were going after Croats. And the Serbs were going after the Croats. And the Croats were going after the Serbs, dudes. Okay. Meanwhile, we're literally all the same people. Like, we speak the same language, everything. Okay. We're just Bosnians. They have 3 different religions in like the area. There's, Catholics, Orthodox Christian, Muslim, and then people who were just kind of like in the middle. So when people are like, why didn't you stay and fight? It's like, fight for who, dudes? We're on 2 different sides. You know what I mean? So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the lady, the travel agent calls my mom and she's like, hey, there's 3 tickets right now out to Switzerland because 3 Swiss diplomats decided to cancel their tickets and stay so that they can get all of the other politicians out of former Yugoslavia. And so, but the thing was, we would have to make it to Sarajevo, which was, I think, like the Muslim side. And so it was kind of like really confusing. Anyway, we leave, we get to Switzerland, and my parents honestly thought it was going to be like, I don't know, a week long kind of like, turmoil, or a month or whatever, and things would kind of calm down. So we literally only packed enough for a month to like be in Switzerland, or a week. Like, I honestly, when I was younger, I thought we were going on vacation. Like, I thought we were going to Croatia to the sea. But then we ended up in a refugee camp in Switzerland, and I was like, what the F? This isn't like the ocean. This is like the worst hotel I've ever freaking seen. And that's when my parents were like, well, hey, bud, we're not on vacation. There's a war. And to be honest, I was 4.5. So my dumbass 4.5-year-old didn't understand that. And I was like, yeah, still worst vacation ever. And a lot of people want me to talk about my experience in Switzerland and what it's like growing up in a refugee camp, because I have a lot of trauma. I use very dark humor to make light of this situation. So if you see me laughing at it and you comment, you should probably see a therapist. I did one time, and she actually cried. So I'm pretty sure I won therapy, okay? Anyway, so we're in Switzerland, right? And the lady in Switzerland told my parents, hey, like, you guys aren't going back. Like, there's no week long, till the turmoil ends. There's no month long. Like, there's a full-blown war going on in your country. Like, you better get everybody out. But by then, everything was super closed. Like, borders were closed. Everything was like shut down. Communication had shut down. Even before we left, the gas stations shut down. So people were like siphoning cars out to get gas. And my first memory of running from like the war was my dad and my uncle trying to siphon gas out of my uncle's vehicle into our vehicle, just enough so we could get to Sarajevo, so we could get to the airport. And it was wild. But anyways, we arrive in Switzerland and they're like, you're going to have to go and, sign yourselves up as legal refugees. And they put us in a refugee camp. Now, if you're like, what's the refugee camp like? It's like 0 out of 5 stars, would not recommend. So when I tell people, hey, I grew up in Switzerland, they're like, oh, you grew up rich. It's like, we had the refugee package and it was actually not very pleasant. But it did make me who I am today. Now, some of you wanted to share what does a refugee camp look like in Switzerland? So the first one we stayed at was actually a World War II underground nuclear bunker. And I'm pretty sure we were there for, I'd say, a month or 3. I was 4.5. Okay, dudes. So it was either a month or a month and a half. And I'm actually going to show you pictures. I've got pictures that I actually managed to Google just to kind of show you what it looks like living in an underground nuclear bunker and just how the layout looks like. Because it's wild, dudes. Like, living in a refugee camp is wild. let me just show you. It's weird. And we're going to boopity boo. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so I'm like pressing all the right buttons today, you guys. I'm actually pretty proud of myself. Usually by this time I'm swearing. So anyways, if you're wondering what an underground nuclear facility looks like where they actually kept refugees, this is what most of them look like. Now, this is not exactly the one but if you look at this picture right here, this is close to what it looked like. But the beds, from what I remember, were more like in a line of it was 60 beds. It was like this. So now imagine this, and it was just like rows and rows of beds. And they would put an entire family next to each other. So you would have blankets as walls to like keep you separated from like other people. Like, it was wild, dudes. Honestly, definitely would not recommend the refugee lifestyle, So we went from there, and then we went to another refugee camp that was kind of set up in the middle of like a farmer's field. And it literally looks like man camps. Like in the oil field, I think that's why I went to the oil field, because the trauma felt familiar. So I was like, I know what that looks like. So we kind of lived in a man camp with like all sorts of families. Like, I'm talking about like families, criminals, like weirdos. Like, it was wild, dudes, okay? And then they had like a little playground outside. And I'm not going to talk about like the trauma that actually happened there, because I'm pretty sure I'd get blocked and I'd probably have some people crying. And every time I do talk about my trauma, I laugh because I think it's funny and everybody looks at me like they're traumatized. So yeah, we went from that camp, and then they took us to a house that was super abandoned, had mold and everything. And they're like, if you can fix this up, they fit like 6 families in like a 5-bedroom house with like 1 kitchen and 2 bathrooms. And that's how we lived for like almost 5 years. So between 4.5 and 9.5, we were in Switzerland in a refugee camp. And then at 9.5, Switzerland was like, hey, the war is over in Yugoslavia. You guys have to go back, or you have to, legally try and stay in Switzerland. Or if you want to seek asylum elsewhere, let the Swiss government know, so in case you need more time so that we don't get deported. So my parents were like right on it. And they started to apply to Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. And Canada accepted us. And that was back in almost 96. And we landed in Canada in 96 in Vancouver, BC. And you know what's really weird? When we landed, Canada didn't give us a single thing, like not even free food, like not even one free sandwich. The thing with Canada, New Zealand, and all of these countries where if you can come in, we'll let you in. We'll give you a 3-year trial, see if you can actually work, make it in Canada without any help, without any welfare, without any social assistance. And then after 3 years, if you meet all of those requirements, you get to apply for the Canadian citizenship. So now if you guys are like, why are you so anti-immigration? I'm not. I'm anti whatever, like, flooding bunch of ding-dongs into countries that, like, don't work, that get on welfare, that don't want to do better, that aren't pushed to do better. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are like, oh, well, you can't be an immigrant. I'm against immigrants. It's like, I'm against not vetting people and letting stupid people in. Like, I don't even care if they're from Bosnia. If they're ding dongs, don't let them in, dudes. Because, like, they literally don't build, the economy. So anyway, yeah, we got to Canada and my dad was like, hey, listen, I know you're young, but we gotta let you understand what happened. And so they kind of tried to tell me about the war and all of that stuff and how, the situation really isn't what it's supposed to be for us to go back. And so my dad's like, you've got two choices. You can either assimilate and be Canadian and see this as your own country, or, suffer, because you're missing a country that you never knew, never been in. Well, I've been in it for 4.5 years, but, it's kind of like a really young age to remember all of that stuff. So basically, I was like, I'm Canadian. And I started snowboarding. I got into hockey, like, you know what I mean? Every Olympics, I'm like head to toe in Canada gear. And yeah, pretty much that's how it started. Then I started high school, like in Canada. I was in elementary, but I skipped 2 grades because of my, Switzerland took IQ tests on me. And they kept telling my parents that if they can just manage my attitude, that I could be really smart. So they gave me like IQ tests and they kept pushing me, and I skipped like a couple of grades. But apparently no one knew what autism was back then, or ADHD, or maybe I was just screwed up. Who knows? You know what I mean? And so, yeah, so I literally came to school in Canada, not speaking a word of English, had to go to ESL, and I got skipped a couple of grades. So I'm the youngest in all of those grades. So I got bullied like a lot. And then I started high school, and it definitely, the high school experience didn't help my coolness, because I went to German school, like German language school, on Saturdays. I was in band. I was in a math club and the debate club. I did get kicked out of band. Not for being rambunctious, just for being tone deaf as fuck, you guys. I am so tone deaf. And I played the flute. And my music teacher was like, hey, like, I know you're trying to fit in, but like, you're horrible, and you're ruining the experience when we have to perform in front of parents. And I was like, dude, I get it. I don't even like music. So if you can just write me a note to kick me out so I have an excuse, word, right? So then I was supposed to go to an international bachelor's program, because I got in because of my good grades. And yeah, I just got a text message. I don't know if you guys heard that coming through, but I don't know what's happening. I think because my laptop and my phone are like boopity booped. They're pee-pee touching, so if one goes through the other. Anyway, I probably should have checked that, but I didn't, because I don't know what I'm doing, dudes. Okay, like I work in the oil field, and I'm gonna get to that story of why I work in the oil field, because a lot of people are very confused by me. Okay, so high school was hell. Okay, I was a nerd, like huge nerd, like just giant. And looking back at it now, like me with the braces and yeah, it was bad, dudes. And then I graduated high school and I went to Simon Fraser University, where I got a degree in molecular biology and biochemistry. And I'm going to show you the degree, because apparently people don't believe me, because I get it. I kind of sound like a freaking ding dong online when I don't use big words, but I can switch from being funny and using like layman's terms to using really fancy big words and being like, look at me using the thesaurus to sound smarter. Blah, right? But anyway, dudes, I am just the way I am. So yeah, I have a degree in molecular biology and biochemistry, and I guess I'll show you guys that, because people are like, you're lying. Why are you lying? It's like, I wish I was lying, you guys. Anyway, look at me. I'm going to press buttons. I'm going to press buttons here. Oh, it's that one again. No, we're going to remove that. And we're going to do this. I'm going to show you guys Sure, I have to get my dad to take the picture because it's literally at my parents' house. Because I don't really care about my diploma. So anyway, here's my diploma. Here's the letter that states that I actually graduated, and then the diploma. If you want a picture of me graduating, you can. I wasn't a sexy looking person then. I mean, I never was, but yeah. So yeah, I did that. Did my degree in molecular biology and biochemistry. And my last semester of my last year, my life absolutely changed. I was actually at work, and I used to work full time and go to school full time. So like, that was great. So when I say I experienced university, there was no partying. I've never been invited to a high school party either. It was just school and work, school and work. So yeah, last semester of my degree, I have a vein that literally pops in my head because remember how I said I was born premature? Yeah, so they thought I was having a stroke at first. I get to the hospital and my face is like, right? And they're like, yeah, dude, like you're not looking good. So they put me into like a CT scan and they find a lump, right? And then Buddy goes, oh, there's a lump. And I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, it could be MS or cancer. You could die in 4 months. And I was like, dude, what are you saying right now? Because I have 4 months left to finish my degree. Like this couldn't have happened on my first year. Like just my luck, you know what I mean? Like if this vein thing happened in my first year of university, the way I would have quit that shit, I'm not even kidding. The way I would have walked away and then gone and been like a surf bum somewhere in Thailand, you know what I mean? I'd like be snowboarding and stuff. Like it would have been wild. But in my head, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not going to die. And so because it's the Canadian healthcare system, they're like, oh, we have an MRI scan that will tell us exactly what's wrong with you, but it's 5 months ahead. So I looked at the doctor and I was like, so dude, you're telling me that I've got 4 months to live, 4 months left of my degree, but my MRI to tell me if I'm going to be alive or not is in 5 months? And he's like, yeah, dude. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So yeah, that last semester at university, I did not do well. Like my grades were so bad, dudes. But I graduated because I had really good grades like all of the other ones. So I kind of like balanced it out. Like it wasn't a fail, but it was still bad. You know what I mean? Because the entire time I was studying, I was like, dude, I might die. So like, what's the point of this? But then, we get the MRI back and he's like, good news. You're not going to die right now. And I was like, okay, cool, dude. Right. And he's like, yeah, also bad news. You can't go skydiving, diving, do any hardcore drugs. And I was like, well, there goes my bucket list. Right. And then he goes, you can't have babies, but like, you're going to live. And I was like, oh, is there a cure? And he's like, well, you just hope that it doesn't bleed again. Yeah. So that was my experience, which then kind of like changed my brain chemistry. Not gonna lie. And so I decided, I'm like, whoa, like I think I almost just died or something. And it kind of like changed my brain chemistry. And I was like, why are we here? What is like the purpose of this? What is this life about? Like there's got to be more to this than just finishing university, getting a career, getting married, buying a house and doing all of that stuff the society tells you to do. So I kind of had a little bit of a like breakdown, but I went straight from school and I got a job, and you guys will not believe this, but hold up before you start hating me. I got a job in a lab for a pharmaceutical company, dudes. Right out of university. This is before I didn't know anything. And I lasted 3 months before I got fired because I was very autistic and like I had no idea with work culture and office culture and not telling the truth. And then apparently you can't be like, you guys lie. And I think you're trying to like, do harm to like patients. And they were like, you're not allowed to say that. And I was like, but you are. So anyway, I got fired. And then I was like, screw the pharmaceutical companies. I'm going to go to natural sales and I'm going to educate everybody so that they don't ever go to pharmaceuticals ever again. Because screw you guys, right? Like, don't fire me. Like, I'm kind of cool. You know what I mean? Well, I wasn't, but whatever. Anyway. Again, HR is the issue. I was really good. Like I used to write scientific articles. I used to give them to the salespeople. Like I did my research. I was like, this is what you guys need to say. This is what you need to say, blah. And I was at the top of my game, but freaking HR, man. It's always HR. So anyway, I decided to get some secondary jobs, as everybody does when they're out of university. And I was serving, I was a server. And then I met some dudes. And I'm like, these dudes kind of seem unhinged and cool. And they're like, we work in the oil field. They're like, you want a job? And I was like, yeah, I do, my dudes. Yeah, I want a job. Like, that's awesome. And that's how I got into the oil field. And then in the oil field, I realized HR only cares if you can pass a piss test and you show up sober and you don't screw anything up. And dudes, I am so good at that. I can pass piss tests. I will work overtime. I will whatever. Just don't ask me not to call anyone a shithead on site, because I will call them a shithead on site. And to be honest, that's the least thing you can do. Okay. So basically, that's kind of like how my life ended up. So some of you are like, why are you so funny? It's the trauma. Yeah. I went to a therapist when she started crying when I was telling her my story. And I was like, I'm bad at this. Am I supposed to like comfort her now and hug her or something? I don't understand. So I thought, I'm like, maybe I want therapy. You know what I mean? Because like I made the therapist cry. So then I never went back. And I just became funnier. Yes. So that is a little bit about my story. Now, if you guys have any questions for me about my history, show me in the comment section and I'll totally answer it until we go to our next little PowerPoint presentation, which is, I don't know what happened right now. I have to press buttons. I have to press buttons, you guys. Buttons. So many buttons. Dudes skis. There we are. Oh, no. There we are. See, once I get better at this, so I know what buttons I'm going to be like, boopity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then somewhere in there, like I literally went to Australia to work on like in the oil field. So then it says, that's 2009, the year that changed everything. And then because some of you, okay, the reason why I want to do the 2022 my viral moment is because, dudes, listen to me. I have found groups who think they've made a conspiracy out of me and they hate me. And I've joined their group with like a fake account and I add conspiracy theories about myself, like to give to them so they sound crazier online, because these people think I'm so interesting. So when I went on this hate group, at first I was mad, not gonna lie. Okay, I was super mad. I was like, what? There's a hate group about me? Like, what are they talking about? I barely leave my house. Like, I'm a freaking hermit, dudes. Like, well, like, why are you hating me? So then all of a sudden, I go in there with a fake account. These dudes think I work for the KGB, the Mossad, the MI6, the CIA. And I was like, hold on, wait. I'm like, I'm not even mad anymore because you guys literally are making me seem so much cooler than I really am. So, oh, is it freezing? People are saying someone's freezing. Okay, it's not. I think it might just be somebody else's thingy that's freezing. But anyway, where was I? See, that's how my brain works. I don't know where I was. Oh, no. Anyway, I've totally forgot what I was going to say. Awesome. So anyway, oh yeah, thank you, Amy. You totally saved me here. Anyway, so yeah, they made up conspiracy theories about me. So I kept adding to them, right? Because they make me sound so much cooler than I really am. And I'm kind of grateful for it because like I don't leave my house if I don't go to work. And these guys think I work for like the KGB and the CIA. Dude, that's like way cooler than my life. So I've kind of let them just spew their stuff. And one day when I want to reveal myself to them, I'll show you guys the page and I'll show you my fake account that I have where I hate myself in that group where I'm like, she's so weird. Definitely cabal, right? Like, even though I'm totally not, dudes. I work in the oil patch, but like, I just feel like messing with people because you can't take life seriously. When you've been through so much, why even take it seriously? You just gotta laugh at things, make a little lighter of it, you know what I mean? And just laugh it off, whatever the thing off the shoulder thing is. But yeah, anyway, so a lot of people are like, oh, Like, she just went viral out of like freaking nowhere. Yeah, dudes, except I had like 17 accounts prior taken down. So from 2020 to 2021, I had an account called Justin is a Dick. And then I had Justin is a Dick 1, Justin is a Dick 2, and it went all the way to Justin is a Dick 17. And if you're wondering who Justin is, it's Justin Trudeau. Yeah, that little dick, because he was our prime minister. So I had 17 accounts just taken down. And then one day I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to do a rant video on TikTok off of my own personal account. And I did, and I closed it. I went to the rig floor. I worked a 12-hour shift, and I woke up, it was so scary. There was like 2 million views on that video. 10,000 people added me. My mom's texting me wondering why my face is all over the internet. My boss is like, hey, why the F are you all over the internet? And I'm like, I don't know, why am I all over the internet? And that's how it started. And because I already had a bunch of writing in there, people were like, we need more, we need more. And so it took me like 2 days of shitting myself because I was so scared. I've never been viral. I've never even been noticed. You know what I mean, dudes? And I'm gonna show you the video that like literally went viral and how I kind of took off. I know you guys are like, oh, the Cabal help pusher. I've been doing this for like 4 years openly, and then like probably 15 years of just getting all of my accounts snooped and just making new ones. You know what I mean? Because Justin is a dick. And if they take this one off, I'll make one that says Justin is a dick 18 and Katy Perry, he pays Katy Perry to dance around stage with a, he's such a fucking ass. I hate him so much. You guys, every time I hear that man's voice, like my eye starts twitching. But let's not get started into that, okay? That's gonna be another video where I just like absolutely lose my shit on Justin Trudeau. So I'm gonna show you the video that made
as New Age Nazis.
Whoa. Okay, I screwed that up. Hold on, you guys. Let me figure out what buttons to press. I have to remove that.
You have no thought of your own.
Okay, so I gotta back it up. This is the first video that made me go viral, and that's how my social media platform kind of started. And I've had like 3 accounts taken down so far on TikTok. I'm not even allowed to go on TikTok. They just give me like violations for opening the app. They're like, screw this chick. But anyways, this was the video that went viral, and I'm gonna try and put just that video on there if I know how to press a button. I love buttons, so many buttons. Okay, here we go.
This is a question for all the NPCs and mouth breathers out there. Basically, I call you guys New Age Nazis because you have no thought of your own. I'm wondering if any of you are feeling ashamed of your behavior in the last 2-3 years. So, for example, if you answer yes to any of the following questions, you basically fit in this category, and I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to see if you're developing or able to think for yourself. In 2020, did you call the cops and yell at people for not wearing a face cloth for literally a virus that didn't exist, but now you are protesting for Iranian women's rights to not wear a head cloth? Because to the Islamic regime, that head cloth is something real, just like the virus was for you. Also, did you say things like the unvaxxed should be put in concentration camps and like not allowed into society and like they shouldn't have free choice because virus on a vaccine that doesn't even work or stop transmission or stop you from getting sick or any of that? And then you marched in Roe versus Wade with signs such as "My body, my choice." No? Okay. How about this? Did you literally tell the truckers, because they're not vaxxed, that they should all be kicked out of society, that they're racists and misogynists and all of that stuff, and then adopt a Ukrainian family without asking for their vaccine status? Did you? I'm just wondering, do any of you realize that you have no free thought? That every thought just downloads to you via media, via propaganda, and then because you don't have the brain cells to actually think this through, you just Okay, are you guys hearing a reverb? Emotionally just head first into whatever they tell you without a thought. And the best part is when I try and talk to you about this in a logical way, right? Like, let's have a conversation. You get extremely angry, and then you tell me to move to another country or go back to my own, and you don't think that's racist? But you're marching for Iranian rights, and you're adopting Ukrainians. I'm just wondering, do any of you actually realize you're just like virtue signaling morons with like no actual morals? I'm just trying to figure out the lack of brain cells and how you feed yourself and how you get through life. So yeah, please stitch this or answer or comment anything, because I'm trying to figure out your level of stupidity, but I haven't been able to actually get so low because I can't lobotomize myself. So yeah, anyway, let me know.
Dudes, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm so sorry, dudes. I have no idea what buttons I'm pressing, and there we go. But I did figure it out afterwards. As I said, this is like my first podcast, and it's going to be the Team U version of all podcasts, dudes. Like, it's going to be like, this is probably like I might as well just start drinking wine right now and then just blame it on the wine, you know what I mean? But it's not. It's just technical difficulties of me not knowing what to press, and then I don't know what sound is going on there, you know, because I work for the cabal and the KGB, according to my hater group. I love those guys. I gotta send them some Christmas cards this year. I'm dead serious. But yeah, anyway, so now that you guys kind of know a little bit about me, that's the video that made me viral. I went from like 8 friends to like 10,000 overnight. I didn't realize it happened. I kind of pooped my pants for 2 days and like didn't log into the internet because I figured I screwed up so bad, dudes. And then people were like, no, we need more. We need cabal stuff. And I was like, dudes, I've been researching this stuff since like the vein in my head went all boopity boo. You know what I mean? And I was told I had 4 months to live. So I started reading every religious book, like all of the mythologies, all of the religions, all of the Abrahamic religions, all of the old ancient religions. And I started to see like connect the dots things that I've seen in the Bible that are being told in other religions. So I was like, wait a minute. And then it just became like a little treasure hunt where I would go to different libraries, like wherever I would travel, I would go to libraries and I would try and find like the oldest books and everything. And it was so fascinating because it was literally way more interesting than the Matrix that they were telling us, you guys. You know what I mean? Like in the Matrix, it's like, oh, you're born, and then it's a whole bunch of right? And then you go to forever nap, right? And then in that you're just supposed to like follow rules and like, you know, go to school and like, and I was like, that sounds boring, dudes. You know what I mean? Like, we've got, I don't know, a limited amount of time on this planet. Why not make it fun? So to me, like, you know, going after information was like literally like hunting for treasure. But the treasure was puzzle pieces. And then I realized that all of these puzzle pieces are hidden all over the world in all of these different like religion and all of these different mythologies. If we just put everything like together, we can actually get like the real picture of what's happening. Except nobody was interested in that at the time. So it was just me, myself, and I having very excited, like, you know, Friday nights and Saturday nights of just researching and being in a library like a loser, right? And then anyone I tried to talk to about this was just like, dude, stop, don't say that, that's weird. Why are you talking about this, right? And so I kind of decided, hey, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna lead my own life. And we started building an off-grid house and everything up north in northern Alberta. And my like plan was, I'm just gonna like build off grid, live on the rigs, and then, you know, just not really care about society. But then 2020 happened, you guys. 2020 happened, and the PTSD went through the roof, especially when they were like, we're closing the borders. And I was like, oh, I've heard this before. And I panicked. I may have panicked a little bit too much, especially at my work, where I was like, the military is gonna come and get us, and then they're gonna vaccinate us, because I've already been down this rabbit hole. And my boss was like, what are you talking about? We're just locking down for 2 weeks. And I was like, no, my dudes, I've got the research. I'm pretty sure that's why I was fired. Actually, all of us were fired in 2020. And then I had to go to another rig. And then when the vaccines came and they're like, oh, you might lose your job. I was like, you fake a pandemic. I fake my own doctor papers. So like, two wrongs don't make a right, but like, whatever. It is what it is. So I actually wrote a doctor's note with my name on it. And I said the DR are my pronouns. That's right. Yeah. And then somebody asked me what the 01011 means. Okay. So I used to hang around the internet a lot in chats, in like the corners of the internet of Nerdvilles. And somebody literally said that if you find the code to the matrix door outside of this reality, the code is 01011. So I like memorized it just in case I find this door. I have a feeling that the door might be metaphorical, but just in case it's physical and I need a boopity boopity code, that's the reason why I put that binary code on there. And I know a bunch of people are saying like the 0010110, but 01011 still makes, because zeros, yeah, it's a binary code. Anyway, that's why that happened. So yeah, anyway, I wrote a doctor's note for myself, and my boss kind of knew I was a little unhinged. So he was like, okay, well, just don't tell anybody you did this, and I don't give a shit. Just go back to your shack and just shut up. And unfortunately, I couldn't shut up, so I made that one video, and it went viral, and here I am, gobble, gobble. That's pretty much how that happened. Unless you go meet the haterades who think I'm part of the KGB, the CIA, and the Mossad or whatever. If you do find that group, dudes, add to it, okay? Because they make me sound so cool. Okay, like I work on the rigs and I come home and I like boopity boo research. Okay, these guys think I actually work for like cool people. So like, I'm totally gonna take it. Anyway, I know I wanted to introduce you guys just to myself. I figure I learned the little boopity boopity buttons. So the next time you're going to insult me and be like, you're from Poland, at least get it right, dudes. Okay, be like, you're from Yugoslavia, and then I'll be like, yeah, like, okay, you know what I mean? Anyway, people on the internet are weird. By the way, this whole internet thing has just been a learning curve and has been weird. Like all the other podcasters don't fight with people in the comment section. I do, because I don't care. I'm like, you want to call me a name? I'll call you a name back. You want to get petty? I'll go lower, dudes. Like, I'm not the type of person who's like, take a high ground. No, we will not take a high ground. We will fight back and match energies, my dudes. Okay? So if you call me a poopy brain, I'm calling you a shithead. Okay? Just so you know. Sometimes I stay away from the comment section so I don't get kicked off the internet because I get mean. That's why I'm like such a dick on X. I love X. You cannot get kicked off X. I've called so many people mama's hoes on X and I've not been kicked off. Anyway, you guys wanted to know how the entire system is kind of set up, right? So I did a video called The Power Pyramid, and I've redone it because everybody was like, when are you gonna put this online? It's like, dudes, I literally work a lot, like a lot, and then I forget, I have no team. Also, I have like no team, you guys. It's me, myself, and I. So if you're DMing me, there's like 80,000 DMs just on X. There's like over 200,000 DMs on my Facebook, to the point where they've shut Facebook off. I can't even open the app anymore. So if you're trying to DM me and I'm not replying, that's because I need a lot of wine to read some of those messages I get. Like, there's people in there saying they love me, they're professing their love, they're trying to marry me, and then 4 hours later they're saying we're breaking up and I'm a bitch. And I have no idea. And I'll open the message, it's like a year old. And it's just some dude saying he loves me and then getting into a fight with me. And then apparently we break up and I don't even know him. So the internet is an interesting place, let me tell you that much. And so anyways, somebody asked me if I sleep. I nap throughout the days. I work nights. I work from 6:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. and I'm on days off right now, but I'm getting switched to days. And so what I do is I just nap because MWD hands aren't really needed like for the 12 hours. So sometimes you get just like an hour to like just nap in your truck or whatever, or on the chair, or like, you know, until like your boss calls you a ding dong and tells you to get up. I gotta get my boss on camera one time, but he just won't do it. I have to like, you know, surprise him a little like a ninja, you know what I mean? Like without him knowing. But anyway, you guys wanted to see here we are. this. Can everybody see this? Is it big enough? Can you guys let me know in the comment section? So this is how the world works. And let me tell you, this is like what I kind of did my little researchy on, you know what I mean? So you've got the all-seeing eye, the one that literally has the power of everything. And if you're like, who is that? I'll get to that in the next slide. Now, I don't know if you guys can see these small letters because I actually got this off of like online, and it actually is a really good depiction instead of me drawing it with my hand like an idiot. It says it's blurry. Is it blurry? Where can I print this out? You know what? Actually, I'm going to upload it to my website. How about that? I'll put these things up on my website. And then that way you guys can see it. But I'm going to just try and like describe it to you. So then it says up here in the red, it says Council of 13. Then it says the most powerful 13 families. Then middle powerful 13 families. And it's really interesting because a lot of people think that, oh, you guys can see me touch it? Oh, crap, I went back. Sorry, guys. I'm literally still trying to learn all of this stuff. Anyways, then you've got powerful subfamilies. Now, these are the 13 families that you have heard, and these up here are the 13 families from Europe that not a lot of people have heard. And I've got the list of the names of everyone in the next slide, which you guys probably saw because I boopity accidentally pressed on it. And then you've got the think tanks. Now, who are the think tanks? We've got the Club of Rome, the World Economic Forum. We've got the UN. We've got a bunch of secret societies that act as think tanks. And these think tanks are basically families or relatives or people chosen by these families to come up with solutions of how they're going to sway us into making our minds want to be slaves to them, which sounds really weird, but that is definitely their goal. So they literally, Henry Kissinger was a huge think tank person. I actually had a video taken down on YouTube because I talked about him. So I will just call him HK for the time being, if I say anything bad about that dude, because that dude's very protected. Anyways, think tanks. Think tanks basically come up with ideas on how to enslave us, but give us the idea that they're not enslaving us and that they're actually trying to help us out, which is really weird, you know what I mean? But that's actually what happens. Now, these think tanks need people, and these think tanks will pull people out from college secret societies, university secret societies, so like things like the Skull and Bones, the one in England, the Eastern Star. And so a lot of people think that Freemasons are 100% bad and all of that. I will actually do a whole thing on Freemasons because some of them are bad, some of them are actually not. And that is actually done so that the ones who aren't are protecting the evil ones in the center of, I guess, the Freemasons. By the way, I talk with my hands a lot. I have to say this, the hate group that I have, because I talk with my hands, they like paused my video at the exact same time and they're like, she's doing Illuminati hand signals. I thought it was hilarious because I was just like, whatever. Funny. Dudes, you guys got to go to that page. It's absolutely funny. But anyways, then you've got the World Financial Control. And the BIS is the central bank of these central banks, and it is located in Switzerland. You will hear me talk about Switzerland, the Vatican, which is not part of Italy. It is its own entity. And then the City of London, which also is not the part of the UK, City of London is its own entity, because these three things connect to all of the families in Europe and their control. So the World Financial Control is pretty much controlling us through finances. We're all debt slaves at the end of the day. I know we think we're free, but that's part of the programming for them to make us think that we're free, that we have choices. But at the end of the day, we're basically all slaves, and we're slaves to the debt and to the financial market and also the global economy, that if it stops, everything pretty much collapses. So then you've got the tax revenue, central banks, and interest revenue, and every country has the same thing. Then you've got the World Resource Control, except now they're expanding that control. It used to just be oil and gas. It used to be the main source that people fought over. Then when Henry Kissinger did a memorandum I think it's 220, Memorandum 220, he basically put in there that by the time the year 2010 comes around, that we will run out of water, food, land, and other resources. And he told the world governments that we're either going to have to somehow subsidize those resources or control the population so that the resources don't run out, so that we can all keep our quality of life. Or the third option is we all cut down on our usage of resources, so we eat the bugs, we own the nothing, and we be happy, right? So those were the three things that he kind of came up as a solution, and the psychos ran with the population control and the you will own nothing and you will be happy. There's absolutely nothing about increasing resources or making the resources last longer, or maybe even, switching different resources to different things. So that's basically the world resource control. And I actually have a video on my YouTube when I used to talk about the UN a lot before I had my account taken. So then you have corporations. Now, corporations didn't really have that much power in the early 90s, early 80s, but now they have almost surpassed the money of the richest families on earth. And now it's a bid between them, the old school 13 families, and the new school 13 families. And so what you're seeing now is basically a bunch of corporations vying for the biggest bidder in controlling our lives from these 13 families. And I'll get into that in subsequent things. So then you've got the government, you've got the media, and you've got education. Basically, you've got this part is the theatrics and the brainwashing level on the pyramid. And then you got us. That's us down there. We, the sheeple, the plebs, the parvos, you know what I mean? The people that they think that we're just basically farm animals to them. We're tax money. We're just basically debt slaves. To them, we're ding-dongs, we're exposable, we're nothing, and we will just go along with whatever they tell us. And unfortunately, whoever is in charge of this new planning of cabal, which is the corporations, which is what happened in 2020, I knew for a fact that this was not the work of the 13 families and the cabal and the Illuminati, because they are smarter, they work slower. There is no way you can actually ever get the evidence that you need in order to implicate them in anything that they have done. We can speculate, we can gather information ourselves, we can get experts in to tell us, but anything that would genuinely implicate them usually is erased. Whereas 2020, it was done so sloppy, it was done so horribly, that you can tell that this is not the work of the old world order that now is pretty much vying for power with corporations. Old England, you've got Vatican, and then they put out even more propaganda out there to keep us fighting and separated on issues that don't really matter, because the only thing is us versus them. That is it. And during 2020, they got so scared because for the first time, the world actually got together with us versus them, with the trucker protests that happened almost all around the world, but Canada was the one that kicked it off. And any trucker, I don't care where you guys are infighting and all of that other shit, I really don't care, but I genuinely want to thank every single person that got into that truck, drove across Canada in minus temperatures with cold, icy temperatures, and drove from Vancouver all the way to Ottawa, or the East Coast all the way to Ottawa. You guys are the truest heroes. And anybody else that kind of supported that, as I said, I don't care who you think is right, who you think is wrong, or whatever. Honestly, I want to thank the truckers for showing the people just a little glimpse of what happens when we put all of our problems aside, all of the minor problems, and we work together as a people. So anyway, I actually found this pyramid. So here are the 13 families that ruled the world. And some of these aren't even a thing anymore, because these families fight each other, these families fight each other, these families fight each other, and the way they control themselves and their goons and the people that they want controlling is through espionage and blackmail. And that's where Jeffrey Epstein comes in, and people like Jeffrey Epstein because they are the ones that go in, collect information, collect dirt on people, and then they can hold it against them. So it's not just them versus us. In their world, they're actually fighting each other for like more power to see which families will be the more powerful ones. So if you go to the CIA website, you will actually find these 13 families. Now, most of them actually don't have anything to do anymore with pretty much any sort of influence. You've got the Astors, the Bundys, the Collins, the DuPonts, the Freemans, the Kennedys, the Lee bloodline, they're not American, they're Chinese. They hold the Eastern Front. They're very influential, but they don't really like control a lot of things. The Rockefellers are still a thing. The Rothschilds are still a thing, but a certain Rothschild. There's Naples Rothschild, there's German Rothschilds, there's American Rothschilds, and these families will go after each other and not help each other out to see which family has the more power at the end of certain events that they plan. So you've got the Russell bloodline and the Van Doren bloodline. Now here is, I'm gonna mispronounce most of these names. So if you don't like mispronunciations, I suggest you log off because English is my 5th language. So I'm gonna screw this up. We've got the Borgia bloodline, the Breakspear bloodline, Somaglia, Orsini, Conti, Chigi, Colonna, Farnese, Medici. I have no Gattini, fuck it. Este, which is Estee Lauder, and Aldobrandini. Close enough, dudes. I don't speak Italian. Anyways, these assholes are actually the ones who control most of this part, the world financial control. From Switzerland to the Vatican, because the Vatican has its own bank. The Vatican bank is so corrupt that JP Morgan didn't want to work with them. And JP Morgan financed Epstein. So now can you imagine how bad the Vatican bank is if JP Morgan's like, yo, dudes, you guys are a little screwed up. And those dudes literally worked with Epstein. What? Anyways, it's so messed up. This, I don't know if you guys can see this, and I don't know how to like make it bigger. But up here it says it's the Council of 13. Now, I found this online. This is not mine. And it's from the perspective of just the United States. So up here it says you've got the Council of 13. And then, but the thing is, this is just from the United States. One thing I forgot to say, each one of these bricks or levels has their own pyramid of hierarchy. And each brick in that pyramid doesn't know what the other brick is doing. The upper bricks on top of that are controlling both bricks, and each one could also be fighting the opposite sides. And that's how the control is kept. And if you look at anything such as the Illuminati or even the Freemasons, where they want to be divine, each level that they reach, right, it gets smaller with information, and you start getting more and more information as you reach higher levels up the pyramid. And so that's basically how this works. So the think tanks will get people like Justin Trudeau, and then they'll get somebody normal, and then they'll also get people from secret societies, because they're grooming these people in cult-like settings to be prepared to work with all of these big families that they know that they can puppeteer the puppets. So when you look at governments, when you look at the media, when you look at education, these are like the lowest of the low, kind of low-laying fruit when it comes to the control aspect. As you go up more, you can see it's smaller. That means the information is compact. That's where you actually get the information. If you look down here, there's so much more room for propaganda, for brainwashing, for everything. But here's the cool part. And the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because it will make sense into what is happening to in today's world. And then you guys will be actually able to understand what is happening. So if you look at this one, this is basically a pyramid within that level. And each level has that. So this guy thinks that Palantir basically is the top kind of surveillance state in the United States. On a world level, it's MI6. England has the highest information including from the Mossad, including the CIA, FBI, including CSIS, and then I don't know what Australia, what's your like 3-letter dudes called? What are those dudes called? What's your like 3-letter dudes called? I don't know. So if anybody in Australia can answer me that, because I honestly, I've never seen that before. But here's the reason why I do esoteric knowledge, conspiracy theories, and politics, because you can see how it all trickles down. Now, if you start looking into secret societies and you start looking into the esoteric knowledge that they're teaching them, and then if you look at the brainwashing techniques that they're being taught to put on us, then all of a sudden, every single thing that they throw at you, you can see right through it and you don't even take it seriously. And then you end up laughing at them. And if you laugh at these people and you laugh at their plans, they start losing their minds because everything's energy. If you laugh at them wanting to control us, then there's no fear involved. And fear is a very strong emotion. So you have to understand frequency and hertz and how feelings and emotions, which is something that I also talk about. So all of a sudden you see that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to dissect certain things of the spider web to try and take bits and pieces to then make a giant puzzle piece so that we can all see what's happening. And sometimes I miss information. Like, dudes, I'm not saying that I've got all the information. I'm just telling you what I have. That's why sometimes in my comment sections or on my videos, I'm like, hey, you guys, do you have any more information on this? Or have you researched something on your own? And then all of a sudden people start, giving me bits and pieces of information. They start linking other information. And then I start learning more and I start expanding with my knowledge. And that's the main thing that I absolutely love about the social media thing. It's like we're all on a cool little Easter egg hunt, you know what I mean? Where we can find the puzzle pieces together. And that's why I started the website with the book club. And I'm hoping to get like a little chat thing going where we can all chat to each other, even in person for an hour, maybe like once a month. And we can go over books and we can go over what we've learned, and then kind of put everything together. But I know it's really scary with what's coming. I'm going to finish this off with this. I know it's really scary with what we know what's coming down the pipeline with the CBDCs, the banks, the digital IDs, all of that. But listen to me. And this is the easiest solution to absolutely everything. If they put on CBDCs and they all give us a grade on how we're behaving, we all act like shitheads. You know what I mean, dudes? Like, oh, they give us CBDCs and they give you like a social credit score. We all jaywalk. We all take a shit in Walmart. You know what I mean? Walk around with your titties out or something. So now we're all freaking gonna get bad grades. And if we all have bad grades, then none of us are getting banks. None of us are driving. And then the government's gonna have to do something about it. So the whole thing is just mass non-compliance in the most peaceful way ever. You know what I mean? Like if the government's like, oh, you should do this, or you just do the opposite. Like I see so many people getting mad at things because they're trying to overcorrect what the government's doing, and that's exactly what they want. So hear me out. Here's a couple examples, okay? The government makes a fake pandemic. We make fake letters for fake vaccines, okay? The government's like, hey, this person can like act as a cat and identify as a cat and you have to go along with it. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna take a shit at like Walmart or like, another store because I'm a cow. Cows poop outside. And now imagine if we all took shit, if we went down to like the mayor's office and we just took a shit in the mayor's office. You know what I mean? And we're like, hey, I identify as a cow. Moo. What are they gonna do? You know what I mean? Like I told my mayor, literally, if he takes my chickens, because they were trying to put in like a limitation of how many chickens and animals you were gonna have. They're like, we're gonna take your chickens away. Bro, I'll go inside your house and take your couch away. I don't even care, dude. Like you take my chickens, I'll freaking take whatever's like not tied down in your freaking backyard and let's see how you like it. Now imagine if we all did that, right? Like there's no way that they wouldn't be able to do anything to us. Ooh, so we're all gonna get a bad score. Like, ooh, we're all gonna go to re-education camp. Then we can re-educate the teachers. You know what I mean? Like, dudes, it's gonna be like camp. You know what I mean? Like, imagine all of us in re-education camp and none of us give a shit. Like, it's going to be immaculate, okay? So, and I know some of you guys are like, oh, this whole like transformer thing, all of that. No. don't let stop the transformer thing, because I identify as a doctor for the next pandemic too. And I'm going to write me a letter, because if they're going to fake it, we're going to fake it. And that's all I got to say is we got to just stick together. Look what we did with the hantavirus. They're like, ooh, hantavirus. And we made fun of it. And then they forgot about it. Then they're like, there's a shitting virus at Taco Bell. And we're all like, dude, it's just Taco Bell. We all get diarrhea from Taco Bell. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So yeah, anyway, that's what I kind of wanted to let you guys know. It's not a scary world. The power's in our hands, and it just has to do with, are we willing to give our rights and freedoms away by complying with their stupid shit? Or are we just going to, like, you know, live our lives and not let them, you know, take control over us? So yeah, I'm just saying, if they're like, don't identify as a cat. No, identify as a cat and go take a shit in the mayor's office. Don't take a shit in the mayor's office. Please don't do that and tell the cops that I told you to do it. This is sarcasm. This is for legal purposes of why I'm saying this. I had to say that. Unless you're in Canada, then definitely go shit in your mayor's office, because you know damn well they're not gonna like arrest you. Like especially in Canada where the cops aren't real and they have woke DEI. Shit wherever you want. Fuck it. You know what I mean? So yeah, dudes. I'm like, literally, don't be scared. I've went through hell and back. I've looked like Satan in the eye, gave him the middle finger, and I was like, saw, dude, see you here again. And you cannot let these people think that you fear them, okay? Like, that's it. That's all we gotta do. Just mass non-compliance on a peaceful scale where we're just like, hey, we're not gonna go to work. If they bring this in, all of us just not go to work. Just don't go to work. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Just stop buying things for like a week. And honestly, once we all stop fighting each other all over the stupid stuff, eventually we'll do it. And here's the thing. I don't have a lot of hope for humanity, but I know if it comes down to it, dudes, we're going to win, because light always wins. And eventually we're going to get pushed so far that we're not going to care about like the minor differences. And then eventually it's going to be us versus them. So yeah. Please don't shit in your mayor's office if you're in the United States. If you're in Canada, dude, you're totally going to get away with it. It's Canada. You know what I mean? You can just be like, I'm a moo-moo. I'm a moo-moo and I identify, and you have to call me a moo-moo. And the cops are probably going to be like, okay, moo-moo, right? So yeah, anyway, I'm a very positive person. I'm also very sarcastic, and I love you guys. And I honestly want to thank everybody for like coming to my first podcast. I didn't even screw up that bad. Dudes, I thought it was going to be way worse, because you should see some of my other freaking podcasts that are horrible, and they were like pre-recorded and I still didn't know what to press, and I didn't have time to like, you know, chop things up. So for the future, if you guys are expecting me to look good looking or have makeup on, it's not going to happen. If you are looking for like professional edited podcast, not going to happen. But if you want some good humor, unhinged knowledge, you know, a little bit of feral like attitude, then you're so welcome on this page. And yeah, to the people who have that hate page on me, dudes, you guys make me so much cooler than I really am, and I totally love it. And yes, I'm going to be coming back and adding more, I guess, rumors about myself, because I'm bored sometimes. But yeah, anyways, I love you guys. Stay safe. It's a Friday. Go, you know, have your little whiny wine or whatever you do. Go watch a movie, a little popcorn, go spend some time, read a book, you know, go pet your dog. You know, I'm pretty sure my cat shit in my shoes today, because I wouldn't give her treats yesterday. So I'm going to go home. I'm in my office, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be shit in my shoe for my cat. So that is definitely an exciting time. But I just wanted to say good night, everybody. I truly, truly appreciate you guys being here, listening to my unhinged, I don't know what this was, podcast. But I hope you learned something, because next time we're going to go deeper and deeper into all of these secret societies, into who all these entities are and how they're like trying to mess with our brains, and how we can combat this for the future, because we might need to do a group, you know, go shit outside protest, just to let them know that we will not be obeying to their communistic caca vibes. Anyway, love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. I'll probably be back. Well, no, not probably. I'm definitely going to be back next Friday. If you guys want to tell me what you want to see on my page, I can definitely do some of my stuff and then go into what you guys like, and I'll pick some of that stuff up. Awesome, dudes. Have a great night. Love you all. I hope everybody enjoyed this podcast. And if you didn't, well, you should have blocked me and stopped watching. That's a you problem, okay? No, I'm just totally kidding. Okay, love you guys. Bye. Hold on, I don't know how to press out. Oh, end stream. There's an end stream button. Oh, I gotta press it twice. Fuck, I'm still here. Sorry, dudes.